Awesome. Well, hey, it is Tuesday night, so welcome to our Hot Topic workshop. Tina Margaret here from Mono, Ontario, Canada, and Robin Taylor streaming from California, Sacramento. So we want to say welcome to everybody and thank you for joining us. Super excited to be bringing you some more information because there's just been a lot of talk recently about the whole weight loss journey and struggles that people are having, and Tina will explain a little bit more how we came up with this topic. But I think what's important is to recognize that as we're going on this journey, even us ourselves are noticing that there is so much to the whole topic of weight loss and the struggles that people deal with. And it's not just a matter of eating more and exercise, or eating less and exercising more. It's a very complicated thing. And so we're excited to be learning and to be able to bring you more well-rounded information with the goal of helping everybody, helping you, helping us, so that we can have the best life possible and the most success with all of our efforts in whatever we're doing. So I'm just excited to be part of our group and the different things that we're doing. And something fun that we wanted to make sure you guys know about, a little housekeeping, is that we did put a little teaser out that we're going to be having a breakfast challenge coming up starting next Monday. So not February. Goodness, wouldn't that be nice if we already flew by all this COVID stuff? Anyway, November 2nd, we're going to be launching a breakfast challenge for 5 days. And so stay tuned. We're going to post the details about that on this Thursday in the group, so you can see what that's about. And we hope that you will join us on our PFC breakfast challenge. So,
yeah,
Tina?
That's awesome. I think the breakfast challenge will be really fun because number one, breakfasts are easy. Number two, a lot of people don't take the time to eat breakfast. So, number three, we'll be able to give some cool meal prep ideas, that sort of thing. So imagine going through 5 days and doing a breakfast challenge and then realizing, hey, I can do this. And if you were a person that didn't eat breakfast, imagine the energy you're going to have. I'm telling you, it'll be cool for everybody to experience that. So we will be talking more about that breakfast challenge, but tonight we are talking about emotional eating. And Robin and I, like she said, have been talking about a number of different things to do with weight loss and nutrition plans and that sort of thing over the last little while. But what we're coming to realize is that there's one kind of really, really important piece missing in the whole puzzle. And that is understanding where your headspace is when it comes to following a nutrition plan. You could be on Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, keto, intermittent fasting, Zen body. It doesn't matter what kind of program you're doing, until you get your headspace right, you are going to have a hard time holding on to any sort of plan. Mm-hmm. Because emotional eating, for example, is a huge saboteur. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what emotional eating was, and then some ways that we can recognize it. And then Robin's going to give us some tips on how we can stem the bleeding, stop the bleeding. No, but Robin's going to give us some tips on what we can do when we encounter those situations where we are definitely ready to emotionally eat. So what's emotional eating? It's actually when people use food as a way to deal with feelings instead of using food to satisfy their hunger. And I asked a ton of questions, right, when I posted that we were doing this hot topic workshop, because I wanted people to think about this and look at those questions and ask themselves, do I engage in this emotional eating? And I think pretty much all of us do at some point, mm-hmm. Because we use emotional eating to celebrate as well, right? So it's family tradition, those sorts of things. But also with those celebrations and family traditions can come a little bit of stress. So emotionally eating, I know. Yeah, I get stressed at Christmas because I always have that feeling like I want everything to turn out right and everybody to be happy and you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the questions I was asking was, you know, do you sometimes feel like you are a little bit out of control or lost of control around food? Or do you eat at unusual times? Have you been eating larger portions than usual? Are you anxious about something that's happening in your life, or stressed or exhausted? You know, I think a lot of us are anxious about all this with COVID because our world has changed. Or have you had a recent jump in your weight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or have you been overweight for a long time, but not understanding why? Or do people in your family use food to soothe themselves? So if you said yes to some of those things, then you probably emotionally eat at times.
I want to point out though, like if you the occasional holiday or the birthday or you got an A on your report card, let's go out. That's not really what we're talking about. It's the habitual, everything's a celebration and everything's out of proportion. Even all that celebratory stuff. So occasionally it's fine. Don't beat yourself up about that. It's when it's just out of control.
Well, yeah. Or if you're feeling like I love eating so much that I can honestly say, you know, when I'm eating breakfast, I'm thinking, I can't eat my lunch. Like I've been like that my whole life because I love eating so much. But I don't emotionally eat, you know, even though I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat next. This is like, I'm stressed out. I'm going for, you know, I'm eating a pizza. I'm eating a whole bag of chips. I'm going to eat that whole tub of ice cream. That's what we're talking about. And I think we've probably all done it from time to time. So what you need to do is you need to recognize the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger, because once you know in your head and your heart which is physical hunger and which is emotional hunger, you're going to be able to decipher, okay, hey, wait a minute, I need to calm down now, put the kibosh on this, or try to, you know.
Yeah, well, it's good to know ahead of time, because in the moment it's hard to discern. You're just like, I need to eat. Yeah.
So I'm going to go over a few things that you can tell which is physical hunger and which is emotional hunger. So physical hunger, it tends to come on gradually, right? And you can postpone it sometimes, although my husband does say I get hangry and it's time to eat. But for us, you know, because we eat every 3 hours and we keep those blood sugar levels even, we know when it's time to eat. We're getting ready. Oh, okay, we had breakfast. In 3 hours, I'm starting to feel a little peckish, but I know I'm going to have my shake, and then I know I'm going to have my lunch, those sorts of things. When you are emotionally hungry, that feeling or urge to eat is sudden. It's urgent. There's two different. Gradually feeling hungry, you know, I'm getting ready for supper, I'm getting ready for lunch, and feeling that urgent need to eat. Also, when you're physically hungry, you'll like look at a big plate of vegetables and, you know, a nice salad or some nice chicken breast, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a feast. I can't wait to eat, you know? But if you're emotionally hungry, usually it's due to some sort of stress. Stress takes our cortisol levels up, that stress hormone. And cortisol tells our brain that we ain't interested in no chicken breast and we don't want any salad, and that plate of vegetables will not do.
So that's like when you open the fridge and you just stand there, wait, like, what is it? What is it? I have to have it, and nothing fits in right because you haven't keyed in onto your trigger thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cortisol will tell our brain that we want salty foods, we want sweet foods, we need foods of different textures like crunchy, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you know that you're going for the bad stuff. It's not necessarily bad if it's, you know, not eaten out of control. Another thing for physical hunger, once you're full, after you're eating your supper or your lunch, you just usually stop eating. It's not a problem. when you're emotionally eating, you usually don't stop. You know, like you will continue to eat till you feel overly full, stuffed. And then you're like, oh, why'd
Yeah.
I eat it?
Then the
You know,
cycle begins. Yeah.
and physical hunger does not give you any feelings of guilt, right? And usually after you emotionally eat, you are going to feel guilty afterwards. So there's a few things that you can recognize. You know, you're feeling sudden urgent, you need to eat this. It has to be sweet, sugary, or salty, or crunchy, or right? And then you're going to think about eating more than you usually would, or too much, and then feeling guilty afterwards. That's usually an emotional eat, right? So you want to be able to recognize that. Why don't you pipe in there, Robin, and tell us something we can do to solve
I'll be the good news. Bearer of good news. You brought up some really good points as far as the whole awareness and the cycle, because I think when you were talking, it's all kind of falling into place for me after starting Zen and being faithful to eating in every 3 hours, a balanced meal. I have to tell you that the cravings went away.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have so much of a problem with that kind of emotional eating, or even the mindset of, what do I feel like eating right now? Because it was kind of planned ahead. I knew what my breakfast generally looked like, or my lunch. And going into it, I might have thought, is this going to get boring? I don't really like that word, but you know, I'm going to eat the same thing all the time. Is it going to be enough variety? But I didn't ever think like, oh, I'm getting tired of this. What do I feel like today? It was just, there was assortment, and you kind of put stuff together, and it was very satiating. So I love that, and I flew with also with the clockwork of it. I have to tell you that yes, during COVID, and yes, in this last year, especially as my menopausal stuff is going on, I have those crazy immediate feelings of like, oh my God, I'm like starving. And I'll think like, Robin, you just ate like an hour ago. You know that you're not hungry. You had a meal. Your body has the nutrition it needs. So that is a good wake up, like, okay, no, listen, like calm down a little bit. So it has been more of a struggle in the last several months than I've had in a long time. So going over this today, I would say it's kind of selfish, but I'm getting good tips here too. So I can throw out that when you're feeling these feelings, if you're not already on like a 3-hour cycle of eating the PFC, some good things for you to ask yourself is, am I feeling a little lonely or depressed right now? And if the answer is yes, perhaps, well, number one is what you might want to do is Tina, sorry if I'm going to steal your thunder. I know you're excited about the pause. When it hits you, pause. Don't immediately run to the kitchen, run to the cupboard, run to your secret stash, wherever that is, and start eating to squash, squash that hunger pain, because it might not be a true pain, a true hunger. Then give yourself some time to digest it in your head. Like, am I really hungry? What's going on? Am I depressed? Am I anxious? Am I really tired? Am I bored? So, and if you can answer yes to those things, and you recognize that's actually what's going on, and that's what's bringing the cortisol up, then some good alternatives are, again, if you're lonely, call somebody, message somebody. If you're lonely, you need contact with another person, but via phone, or maybe you have a pet or an animal, or you can, watch something that makes you feel like you're connected to other people, and that might help, take that feeling away. And if you're anxious, and I know what this feels like, like you're like almost shaky or itchy, like you just have to move, or you have so much energy inside, then what you want to do is, you don't necessarily need to call somebody, or you need to release that energy, that nervous tension that's building up. So in those situations, go for a walk, go for, turn on your favorite music, dance, do something fun, and get your body moving a little bit to help take care of, offset that anxiety. And, if you react nicely too, just go lie down and get your body into a calm state, or maybe learn to meditate if that's not something that's part of you already. And I mean, that's completely opposite of the anxiety, but maybe that's your way to deal with that anxious tension that's building up. So those are good. And of course, you always have those stress balls. I remember from my desk at work, everybody always had those. The other thing too now is if you're exhausted, of course, you want to lie down. You want to do something to help rejuvenate yourself. Maybe it's a nice cup of tea. Maybe it's reading something that's, mentally stimulating for you to try to awaken your senses again, listening to some soothing music so that you can kind of treat yourself to a little calmer time to help your body offset that exhaustion and maybe bring yourself back up. And of course, if you're quote unquote bored, then you want to do something to stimulate your brain, stimulate your mental juices so that you don't feel bored. Do some kind of activity that you like doing. If you have a hobby, engage in that for a little bit. If you are somebody who, has access to the computer at that time or whatever, find a comedy, something funny to listen to, or read a book. So there are lots of different things that you can do to become stimulated, and then those juices will start flowing, and the false hunger pains, they'll be distracted, and you're like, oh, I've got better things to do than go put food in my mouth that I don't need because it's not time to put nutrition in. And I think that's a good question too, is my body craving nutrition, or is it just craving the stuff? And we know we are all evolved and smart enough to understand that really food is here for giving us nutrition. It's our fuel. And bottom line, if we're putting things in our body that aren't giving us fuel, we know in the long run, it's not going to serve us that well. If we're celebrating, go have fun, enjoy it. We're not saying this is a strict rule that you can't ever have fun again. We're just saying in those moments where you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. What is this hunger pain? Is it emotional? What is it? I don't know what the statistics are, but I'm sure they're high. Anytime that you're putting something in your body that's not nutritious, when you're acting out of that habit or just that that reflex to go and find, something for your craving, it's mostly not going to be nutritious, and it's not going to serve you well on the other side, because then you're just going to hit that cycle of being upset with yourself for doing that, and then it's just harmful. So, and I do have to say too, we're talking in general here. There are situations in our life, we carry things that I've learned this, recently, that a lot of things come from so many years back, from our childhood, from our teenage years. If there's been a trauma, if you have suffered something, long ago, or maybe even recently, where your go-to is food now to help comfort you because of something really seriously stressful and traumatic that happened in your life, there is absolutely no shame in going to ask for help from professionals who are trained to deal with these kinds of situations and empower people so that they know how to handle this and to be your best person. And, if that's something that's affecting you, I strongly encourage you to reach out to people that are trained to help deal with that, heal that, so that you can treat yourself with the best nutrition moving forward, and just honor your body and do nice things for it, as opposed to continuing to relive or, whatever that kind of traumatic situation is. So, but in general, it's just good to have these tools and to know, to recognize, am I really hungry right now? Or am I just starting this little cycle. And again, right now, with so much uncertainty this year and the ups and downs of, 2020 and menopause, and it's just a wacky time. This is just another tool, I think, to help us be better and come out the other side as strong as possible. And when you were going like this about your breakfast, Tina, I laughed so hard, because what you're doing in that situation is, and this is something, it wasn't on the little list that I was looking at, but you are being very mindful, and you are being very mindful and present to your meals. You're enjoying your food. And that is also a huge skill, if you want to say. It's I'm
mindful to my food.
Be mindful. You're appreciating your food. And when you are, I'm going to read something really quick about being mindful to food. So, practicing mindful eating, it forces you to slow down, focus on the present moment, and notice what you're really feeling. So what is really great about being present with your food, you're going to taste everything, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to appreciate the nutrition it's giving you. And if you repeatedly ask yourself, how well do I feel after my meal or snack? Then you'll really begin the process of gaining awareness of your own specific nutritional needs and how your body reacts to different foods. So I love that it sounds woo-woo, I know, but it's just an extra layer of attention that when you can be fully present and appreciate everything about what's going on, your whole vibration, your whole energy receives it better, and your system's going to process it better. Because think of it, if you're sitting there eating a bag of chips and you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, I'm so bad, this is so bad for me, but I can't stop, all that negative self-talk, it's just your whole digestive process doesn't work well. If you're going to let yourself have some chips at a party or whatever, for whatever reason, you have a decent amount, you've recognized this is a portion I'm allowing myself to have today, it's okay, I'm not going to beat myself up, thank you for this treat. Your body's going to handle that better, even if it's not the healthiest choice. Now, of course, with Zen, what we're helping to empower people with is learning to put together a well-balanced meal, very simply, very easily, with the favorite foods that you like, huge variety. It's a wonderful way to eat. And I have to say, my whole life got brighter after learning how to balance my foods. And I have to think it's because when I'm eating, I appreciate it. I know it's good for me. All of my senses, my whole digestive process works better. And when you're getting all that nutrition, I seriously picture colors and brightness and joy around it, because I know that I have the power to do that for myself. And if I want ice cream occasionally, and if I want cookies occasionally, I don't beat myself up about it, because I know it's not going to be bad, and because most of the time I'm doing a good job. So being mindful about your eating is it's a wonderful thing. And there's actually a whole process that goes along with just in the kitchen it starts, or even at the store. We can even do another talk about that.
I think we could do a whole hot topic workshop on that. I think it would be a really good idea.
I want to facilitate that one. That sounds fun. Mindful eating. So yeah, that is good. So just know that there are some, step back, give yourself a few minutes, evaluate, where's this hunger coming from? Am I really hungry? Am I having an emotional reaction right now? And a lot of times before I started paying closer attention, I just thought it was my body telling me. And I didn't even realize there's this other messaging going on. It was like, oh, hungry again? Seriously, all right, let's go eat. And not like, whoa, am I really hungry? So there's an occasion to really step back. If you know that you have recently eaten a good healthy meal, then you should be like, whoa, what's going on here? So you can always reach out and talk to people, do an activity, do something else to stimulate your mental juices, your physical juices, calm yourself down, whatever, pay attention to what's going on, and then supply the needs of whatever that situation is, rather than just going to the kitchen, because it really is a habit. A lot of the times it's just a habit, so we need to better choice.
Robin, you know, when you talked about people like, you know, just eating and then being hungry an hour later, when people are eating diets with a lot of refined sugar, right, in them, then they are going to have that sugar crash. And their body is physically going to feel hungry, right? And for us, because we've taken, like, you know, the refined sugar out, except for that occasional treat, and our sugars come naturally from dark fruits, or, you know, eating that way, or when your vegetables are actually broken down in your body, you know, so healthy sugars, then we don't have that sensation of the big crash, you know.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it. But if you're having the crash, it's time to get rid of refined sugar.
That's a big
problem.
Yeah.
And such a debilitating thing for so many people. But understanding your emotional eating by saying to yourself, is it urgent, right? Knowing your cortisol levels are high because of stress, so you're craving specific foods, that you would eat more than normal and you would feel guilty. That's an emotional eat. Do we all have them? Yes, occasionally. But you want to be mindful, like Robin said, and be aware. And so that you can take control of those situations so that they happen less and less. Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a good first step in going towards getting our headspace, or that word mindset, right, that I don't like using so much, but getting our headspace right, so that whatever we're choosing to do, we are going to have success. But it's not just, oh, weight loss and it's a success. It's like, I'm able to carry this on. I have these good habits, these good eating habits. You know, I know that I have to feed my body every 3 hours. I know that a menopausal body needs that. I know that a woman's body needs that. That's all.
Yeah. I might add, just in closing too, one small step that I think would be a good thing to at least implement right now, if this is really something that you're struggling with. Well, there are actually two, but my first suggestion would be, if, say, chips is your thing, now that you have a little bit more information, if you're ready to make a change, go to the cupboard. Instead of taking the whole bag of chips to your couch or your bed or your car or wherever you eat them, just say, I'm going to put some in a bowl, and I'm only going to eat this much right now. Put the rest away. Allow yourself, you know, so it's like a baby step. Going cold turkey might be just a really difficult thing right now. At least take a baby step in the right direction of, I'm not going to be out of control. I'm going to allow myself to have a small portion of whatever it is that I'm craving until I can really get to a even better than that, you know, a little, and next time take a little bit less, and the next time a little bit less, and pretty soon you'll be off and implementing a whole new habit. So if it's really too hard for you to go from what you're doing now to nothing, and, you know, picking up the coloring book, which, by the way, I love adult coloring, but anyway, you can just kind of go in inch in that way. And the other thing is, if you are ready, if you have thought, like, you know what, it is time, it's closing out in 2020, and I'd really like to learn more about Zen Project 8. I'd like to have a conversation. Tina, Mel, and I are 100% here for you. conversations don't cost a dime. We just want to make sure that everybody is aware of what this answer is, and it's something that's very doable and sets you up for a future of brightness. Really, that's the best way that I can explain it. So reach out to any of us.
Yes, we're bright.
Bright. My life just got brighter. Everything gets brighter. So.
I think that's awesome. No, and it's true. I mean, it is a future of brightness.
Yeah.
I can't explain it any other way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, because also I've been like talking a lot to Robin about body image and all that sort of stuff. Another hot topic that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you know, like, oh, right before we got on, I even said to Robin, oh my God, I look so old. And she was like, stop it. You know, like you still think those things about yourself, but I can tell you, embracing it, because I'm the very best that I can be. So yeah. You're right. I feel the brightness. Mm-hmm. And got to be less critical. All of us have to be less critical.
Amen.
I'm learning how to do that, but let's get a handle on the emotional eating. And we have a few ways we can do that now and ways to recognize it. So I think this was a useful hot topic night. And I'm hoping that if you watched it, that you are able to engage and say hi to us and let us know that you were here, or that you watched it, or that you watched the replay, or you have a question. Pop it into the comments, because all of us in these two groups are here for one reason, that we want to be better ourselves for ourselves, right? And we can share your information. If you have a question, put it in, because somebody else is going to benefit from that answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are here and you say, oh yes, I really need to be moving, I need to be getting my nervous energy out, and you're not sure what to do, Tina and Mel did a great hot topic workshop last week on physical activity and exercise stuff. And I know Mel has been dropping a lot of information about different exercises and routines and things that you can do at home very easily and at different fitness levels. So check those out, because those are really informative. Okay. Anything else tonight, Tina?
I don't think so. Get ready for 5 days of breakfast.
Breakfast challenge. All right.
Breakfast challenge. Think about it. You're going to have fun. You'll enjoy it. And there might even be some prizes at the end.
Yeah. Okay. See you Thursday for that. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Robin. Thanks.
Thank you.